Gather round, friends and strangers alike, as we journey into a world beyond our own. Close your eyes, open your minds, and dare to dream. You are entering the Mysterious Imperius DreamStream with your hosts, Ghost Hunter Dave, Troy to the Max Extreme, and Dinosaur Neil. All good things must come to an end, and in this penultimate volume, several threads are cut, leaving much of our story told. Characters and plotlines stretching far back from our inaugural volumes intertwine once more, and we re-examine Morpheus's past deliberations regarding change or death. With all the pieces finally in place, sit back and prepare yourself for the grand climax of Sandman Volume 9, courtesy of the kindly ones.
Hey! Whoa! I was gonna come in with high energy, but you beat me with low energy.
Just a low energy kind of day.
Welcome
Still in morning.
to the Mysterious Dreamstream. I'll get it right. The last one, maybe.
I don't think we've gotten it right yet. It's subject to change.
Yeah. We are going over tonight in its entirety.
Oh, boy.
Volume 9 of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. Mm-hmm.
The kindly ones.
Yes,
they call themselves. They call themselves that.
Well,
that's not what anyone else calls them.
Yeah, they, I would say far from.
Very much so. So this is the penultimate chapter, volume of our Sandman journey. Yeah. One more after this.
Yes.
And by the end of this, you could have told me this was the end. I would have been like, all right, I'll buy that too. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That's right.
We got a lot of show to do, so we're not going to beat around the bush too much.
Okay.
Any thoughts right up front before we dive in? Because this is 13 issues.
I was going to say, it was a long one.
This was a long one. Yeah.
It was one of those Hydra books where you read one volume and 2 volumes appear in this place. Kind of a book.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the chat that we all share, or I can't remember if it was that or just to you, Dave, but it's like, I feel like the more I read, still the same amount of pages are on the latter half. I don't know how this is happening.
Yeah, I think it was in the Discord you said it.
Oh.
So if you care to hear Troy complain about the show, feel free to join our Discord, because that's where it's at.
Yeah. But yeah, you even said it's going to be a long one. And I'm like, you always say that, Dave.
I do.
This one is a long one, though.
Yep. I've never been wrong. They've all been pretty long.
So oddly enough, though, if broad strokes for this one right now, it's like, even though this one is 13 issues, it reads, I guess, I would say it reads faster.
Yeah. For
13 issues, because like it reads just as fast as like a 6-issue one would before. I don't think it's as wordy, and it's more straightforward than other ones too. It's telling a single narrative instead of like jumping to a story over here, doing something over here, where it's like non-sequiturs or something like that.
I agree and disagree completely. Because there are so many narratives, and it jumps around so much. But I too feel like this one does tell like the most cohesive, like single story of all of them.
It felt like it was a different writer. Like, so much so that he's like, not doing experimental stuff. He's just said, like, oh, this is straight up comic book style. I got a lot to get in. I'm not doing any floofy shit in this. I'm just trying to push through. I think that's the best possible way you can do.
They probably were like, all right, you've got 10 volumes in this. Don't screw this up. And then he got to 9, and he's like, oh, I gotta pack in a lot.
Shit, I've been floofing around for 9 volumes.
However, I will say, just based on, like, kind of the reading speed of this one, it did get this one, like, really got engaging. I
agree.
Think so.
Yeah,
so, like...
it has to. Yeah. This is where all the shit goes down.
Yeah. But it kept me wanting more of this one, and then at the end, I was like, oh, I cannot wait to read the next one.
Yeah. There were moments, there were cliffhangers where I was, like, ready. Just, like, shaking with anticipation. Like, something is actually going to happen with consequence in this book.
Yeah.
And I loved the book overall.
Yeah.
And the whole series I've very much enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it's a very subtle read. And this is a
Yeah.
point where it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
The dogs of war are out. The ravens are out of the castle.
That's right.
They're everywhere.
We won't get into it, but my expectations were once again subverted. Real quick, we have a new camera here. PK upgraded a bit. Our mysterious fourth member upgraded. So we have a little different setup. That's why we're a little late. I just want to make sure that the sound, everything is as good as to be expected.
How's the compressor doing?
Is the compressor okay? Did the compressor kick in yet? We have 12 people watching right now. It might be an all-time record. So if anybody has any discrepancies with the stream strength right now, we'll see if we can get a stronger stream.
And compressor experts out there, expertus.
That's right. But it sounds like nobody has anything to say, so we will get right into it.
I'll jump into the chat in just a second.
Oh.
Tamara asked if we've seen the trailer for Netflix yet. Yes,
we
I have.
Mhm.
I'm very much anticipating the show. Just drop it already. Drop the show. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
I cannot ever remember when it comes out.
I don't think they've said.
Oh, really?
No, I
it's
don't
just
think
going to drop in our dreams like
It's
overnight.
usually how they do it, right?
Yeah.
Netflix like shows a trailer and then a month later it's out. But
Right.
this one we saw the trailer a while ago.
That's right.
I've been waiting on it.
Yeah.
It'll probably happen right when we're done with this. And we're like, well, we're done talking about Sandman. Let's move on with our lives. And then shit, gotta talk about Sandman some more. It did look very good though. And I do not know what to expect.
Not
I
at
think it
all.
looked more like the comic than I was expecting,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah.
And hearing some of the cast, like they have the Corinthian in it,
Yeah.
who I'm a big fan of. And I'm interested because he happens in Volume 2.
Yep.
So they're just moving right through it.
After getting this far into the series, I'm very curious as to where the show will go because they could obviously leave a bunch out from the books, but like, I'm very curious as to how they're going to tackle some of most of the Sandman series.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't like. Nah, we won't get it. We'll save it for when we have to talk about the Sandman
Good
show.
point. There's a lot of issues to cover here.
Yeah,
Dave.
got a lot to talk about today. So, should we get down to it?
Yep.
I think we should.
Let's set
flip
that timer.
hourglass. Thanks,
Oh
man.
man, we're gonna have to flip that several times
Oh.
tonight. So let's real quick background on it. Ran this one, The Kindly Ones, Volume 9, covers issues 57 through 69. The
Nice.
longest volume, the grand finale, 13 issues, and was published over the course of 2 years, 1993 to 95.
Wow.
And this one, we get a very major. Well, not yet. Very well. I mean, it kind of fits because I was just gonna say we get a very drastic change in the art
Yeah.
on this one, courtesy of Mark Hempel being the primary illustrator. There was a couple other people that joined him, but they kind of mimicked his style,
Yeah.
and it is the most not off-putting, but shockingly different than anything else in the Sandman volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, at first I didn't like it because it didn't feel like Sandman to
Right.
me. But by a couple issues, I fell right into it, and I'm like, I kind of wish all Sandman was there because it's just like more abstract, and I think it fit really well as opposed to the like super detailed, stylized '90s stuff that we've been getting.
Right. In our Discord, somebody brought up it's supposed to bring up like a feeling of like Greek art,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's like simplistic shapes and stuff like that. And some of the splash pages where it's kind of like centered and it looks like they're posing in a Greek statuesque kind of
picture
way.
it on a clay pot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, I get where that's going if that was their whole deal, because this whole story here is laid out as a tragedy.
Yep.
But
some might say it's a Greek tragedy.
that's where I feel like they got the influence there. I feel like I just wanted the art to just not be as for as the heavy storytelling as it was in this, I'd want it to be almost a little bit more dramatic looking.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the abstractness of it, and I don't hate the art either. I just wish for this story it was just a little different.
I feel like it gives it almost a surreal quality through a lot of it too.
Sometimes, but sometimes I just feel like it's a little cartoony.
Yeah.
A little bit. I both agree and disagree with like the art style on it. I do wish it was like a little bit more moody, I guess you could say, where it a little more down and dark given the subject material. But I think it made it really easy to read. Like, it just made it more of a breeze to kind of get through. And there were some design elements which I love. Like, I love the orange fire like stripe that goes up Morpheus's coat every once in a while. Like that bright orange. That makes an appearance.
New patrons to trick out this coat. It's still just the standard dream gear.
I love that. And it does make an appearance in this one. So,
real quick, fun fact, you know who the original artist was slated to draw this book?
No.
But he had to drop out because he blew up in his own right.
If you say Kevin Nolan.
No, not Kevin Nolan.
No, I don't know.
Mike Mignola.
Oh, for real? What?
Yes, he was on deck to draw this, and he basically said, like, I'm not going to be able to do it. He was doing Hellboy, I think Wake the Devil at this time, so Hellboy was really getting popular.
Oh,
and he had to be like, no, sorry. But I feel like Mark Hempel is similar,
yeah,
you know?
That makes me think they were after a specific style for this book.
Yeah.
Huh.
Can you imagine a Mignola Sandman? The longest, most, like, pivotal Sandman volume.
Oh, my
Fart.
God.
Yep.
Fart the bed.
Yeah.
Put Lobster Johnson in it for some reason.
But you did mention Kevin Nolan, and real quick, how many times I gotta say real quick in this, the longest episode we're probably gonna do.
Yeah.
This volume opens with a very quick one-shot drink every time. You guys at home, too. This was published in Vertigo Jam, just like a little winter special type of thing. And it's basically just kind of a reintroduction of a lot of the characters in The Dreaming for new readers, I guess. Although, if you're trying to hook them right now, that train has sailed.
Yeah.
But we do get some amazing looking Kevin Nolan artwork.
Yeah.
He draws a great Sandman, a great everyone.
Yeah.
Great Merv Pumpkinhead.
Oh, boy.
And it's just this little fun recap. Like, here's all these people if you're just now joining us.
Well, yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah. I did actually kind of like that because, like, we've seen them a good chunk of throughout the whole book, but it's like, hey, we're introducing these guys again because you're going to see them a lot in the next coming 13 issues or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you do.
It's probably nice that they did it for people reading it maybe a volume per month. Like where you need a little refresher.
Yeah.
Just to say.
All right. I don't have any images of that. I guess it's the one thing I forgot to do while
That's
I spent
okay.
all day fucking gathering notes and images on this goddamn long-ass book. But use your imagination. The characters all look like Kevin Nolan drew them. They got that weird upper lip.
Yeah. It's a great looking upper lip.
It's a good upper lip. But let's get right into it.
Yeah.
So let's start off. Paul, now we can get to it.
There we go.
PK, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Look at him.
So this starts off with the titular Kindly Ones, trio of witches, just putzing around their house, spinning yarns, or stories, as some may call them. And this story is coming to an end, they say. All good things, gotta finish sometime. And this kind of bookends this whole book, these ladies.
Yeah. Very, like, I've seen, like, these type of characters, probably are the same characters, like...
Yeah, they've been throughout it, right?
Yeah, but, like, even in other things, too, like, they are, like, the Fates in Disney's Hercules, or something like that, that all share the same eye. I think they even bring that up, like, we used to share an eye, or something like that.
Yeah, Macbeth, I think, was one of the maybe earliest versions of these witches. I don't know if there's some before that. Someone in the chat could probably tell us where these three witches originated from, but there's the maiden, the crone, and the mother, I think, are kind of who they represent.
Yeah.
And we should say right off the bat, this is a very, very female-centric story. And those three witches and those forms and what they represent appear all over this book, through all kinds of different characters.
Yep.
And I love the little...
you can come back to us.
The little notions and, like, subtle hints to, like, cutting a yarn or cutting a string or something to represent
a lot of that.
We're gonna get you kind of a thing. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah. So that sets it up, and then we move on, and we are reintroduced to a lot of characters throughout this story. Next stop, the Dream Castle, where we see everyone there. Dream's bestial guards. Merv, Pumpkinhead, just salt of the earth
Fan
guy.
favorite.
Yep.
Oh.
Lucian, his bookkeeper,
Loosh.
right-hand man, Loosh.
Loosh.
And Nuala, who is the fairy that was basically gifted to him
Yeah.
by her shithole, just asshole brother.
Yeah.
Real Targaryen situation.
Oh, it
if we
very
can
much
do a
is.
Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah.
Troy?
I get it.
All right, all right.
Well, barely.
And she's just kind of moping around, but you know what? We find out she's been really enjoying her time here under the servitude of Morpheus.
This is one thing where I couldn't ever get a grasp on what she was feeling, because she does mope around all the time, but she's not like the words she's saying don't match what she's looking like a lot of the time.
But still the
She
same.
sings little songs.
That's true. She does sing a song. There are times when it's like, so how you doing? I'm pretty sad all the time. Okay, you want to go? No.
Yeah.
What? Do you want to go back to like Fairyland?
I'm good.
No, I
This
guess
is
I'll
better.
just be here cleaning all the time.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
pretty there. Ugh.
And Paul, if we can jump back one more time to that last image, we also see Dream himself laying eyes upon the man with no eyes. He's crafted himself a new Corinthian.
Giving him a thumbs up.
Yep, looking great.
Looking great, bro.
Those pearly whites in all manner of places,
Yep.
shining brightly. So does it seem weird to anyone else that he just has a boner for the Corinthian throughout this whole thing?
It does.
Just wants
a
to
little
keep
bit.
crafting this nightmarish ghoul.
Yeah. Right. Didn't turn out so great that first time.
See how it
But
goes the
he's
second time.
I really like the teeth for eyes thing. So
Pretty soon, everyone he makes just has teeth for eyes and ears.
Well, it's never worked before, but it might work for us.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Nuala, you say you're sad. You want teeth for eyes?
You ever thought about that?
Sure that wouldn't cheer you up? You can triple your brushing time. Then if we jump to the next one, Paul, we meet another character that we've been introduced to before. This is Hippolyta, Lita for short, and this was the one-time superhero wife of Hector Hall, who was a one-time Golden Age Sandman, right?
Yep.
And she became pregnant in the dream realm.
Yes.
Thus, it was Morpheus's child. Right? Is that
guess.
kind of what we decided on?
Well,
that?
Morpheus is like, the boy's mine.
Yeah.
So I just assumed yes.
Yes.
Because I thought she was.
Dreaming semen.
Oh, boy.
I really like that. I might just move on from there.
Well, you just wait. It appears again. There's another instance of it. But she's an overprotective mother, basically.
Yeah.
Because she had a rough go of it.
Yeah.
She's worried Dream's going to come back and snatch up this child, because he said he would.
Yeah.
Basically left her with a threat saying he would do exactly that.
Yep.
But she basically says, like, if anything happened to Daniel, I would lose it. Actually, no. If anyone hurt Daniel, I would fucking kill them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then she goes out on a date with this guy. Halfway through the date, all of a sudden she, like, gets this jolt, and she's like, something happened to Daniel.
Yeah.
Runs home, Daniel's gone.
Yep.
Daniel's missing.
Mother's intuition.
That's it.
Wow.
Felt a string snap.
That's right. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
actually gave me very bad dreams.
There's something much worse that happens.
I know. Oh, I know. I read the book.
Yeah.
But that is just like, because you once told me a story where, like, having your kid in the crib or whatever, and you're watching the baby monitor, and you just wake up from something and look in and just see a figure taking your baby out of the crib or whatever. And I've never forgotten that.
It didn't really happen. I
No.
think it was probably something that I said would be horrifying.
Yes. Thanks for ruining my life.
You bet. That's why we do the show. Keep that track record going. Paul, you ever stolen any babies?
Hold on.
You gotta put these babies away. No, I haven't.
It's all good.
Thank you.
As
All right.
cryptic of an answer as we've ever wanted. So.
Or ever received.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta move this along. We're not making good headway, guys. Next up, Chlorocan. He arrives at the castle and says basically, hey, Nuala, you can go home. How
Right.
about that? And she's like, I don't think Dream's gonna let me.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go ask him.
It's like, I don't think you can ask him.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. And he goes like, hey, Dream, I'm gonna take her home. He's like, okay. She's like, what? You didn't even fight for me. He's like, here, take this pendant. You know, if you ever need to call me, use the pendant. But you can only do it once.
Yeah.
Don't be blowing me up.
I'll give you a boon.
Yeah, you want boon?
What? Yeah, I guess. What's a boon?
I don't know. Dream loves dishing out boons.
Is that your one time you're calling me? I'll tell you what a boon is, but that's that. That's the boon. Dem's the boons. So she can go home, but she's kind of bummed out about it.
Yeah.
I guess she feels like an outsider back on her fairy village.
Mm-hmm.
No more than an outsider there, I guess.
Right.
But at least there she was ignored completely.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know any nicer way of describing her life
But
there.
still at the same time, like grew strong feelings for Dream? Even though he practically ignored her and treated her like a piece of property.
Probably like, oh, you're still here? Hey, Dream, I'm going to take my sister home. She's still here?
Yeah.
So then we move on. We check in with Lita again.
Yeah.
And she has a horrible nightmare.
Mhm.
One of several throughout this book.
Yeah.
And she gets her first glimpse of the kindly ones here and basically is told, like, yeah, her kid's going to burn up. They're going to roast that kid. And she freaks out. And she's telling her good friend Carla about it. She's kind of losing her marbles here. And she's like, I don't know what's worse, that I believe them or that they said they would see me again. And I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what my future holds. It's not good. Seeing 3 craggly old women or a burnt up kid. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Take the women.
They're pretty craggly.
Yeah, oh, well.
One's a crone.
Oh!
One's a maiden.
One's a mother.
You know what? They sound alright.
One of them eats rats or something. I can't get into that.
No?
Nah.
Not for you?
Not for me. The fortune cookies that they eat, quite possibly. They seem like very damning fortunes, but I can deal with that.
Next, we're moving along here. Moving right along. Next up, we are introduced, or reintroduced,
Okay.
drink, to the real kidnappers of this baby, Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream, and Loki, that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Dumb bastard.
And Loki tells a hilarious story about one time where he made Thor shit himself
Yeah.
in graphic detail. Probably
Yeah.
the most off-putting thing in this entire book.
It took like 3
Until you
pages.
turn the page and you see him toss a baby into a fire. Lots of laughs all around.
Yeah. Yeah. That took like 3 pages to tell that shit in his pants story or whatever.
And he thought he shit out a squirrel by the end of it too, which just made it even better, I guess.
I guess. But all a matter of things were shoved up Hercules' ass.
Yep.
I guess for fun.
Yeah, he's a
prank.
trickster.
For
Loki's
fun.
a trickster.
For a YouTube prank.
Yeah. God, Loki would be a fucking YouTube prankster.
Yeah, you bet.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
the scenarios? He would cook up for Thor.
A lot of oil up an ass,
I-
squirrels up an ass.
I just love thinking this in like MCU context of like Tom
That's how I
Hiddleston
always read
shoving
this.
shit up Chris Hemsworth's ass pretty much. Even though these are like they're apples and oranges as far as that's concerned.
Night and day.
I'm sure there's some fanfic you could find telling that story.
You absolutely could.
This is one of them. So they throw the baby on the fire. They
Yeah.
say they're gonna, and you're like, oh man,
Yeah, right.
they're not gonna do that, are they? They're like, well, here you go.
Yeah.
Just pop her right
In
on
the
in
fire
there.
you go.
Yeah. And it's worth noting that he's got a tether, a string attached to him too, and you're like, what the fuck's up with all these strings?
Yeah.
Well, you kind of get an answer.
Yeah.
Not right away.
No. Oh no.
It's still haunting. They threw a baby in a fireplace.
It was horrible. That
It
was
was absolutely tragic.
very bad. And then they cut away, so you don't even know, like, oh, is he okay? Is, like, the fire not get to him? Or did he just sit on that fire, and the fire hasn't got to him yet? Yeah, I don't know. Turns out, fire gets to him.
Nasty way to go.
Nasty way to go. Then we move on, and we're reintroduced to another character from the past, old Hob.
Yep. Woo!
Hob is in a cemetery mourning the loss of one of his wives over the, 600 years he's been alive.
The
Since
one he
struck
misses
that-
most, I guess.
Yeah, the good one.
Yeah.
The one that all the others pale in comparison. But he essentially has learned the meaning of love, I guess, in his immortality, that he's been just doing whatever he wants, sexing and drinking and doing slaving, whatever, whatever strikes his fancy. He's
Whatever's
finally
the style at the time.
yep. He's finally lost something that has meaning to him. And then he crosses paths with Dream. They share a drink, as they always do. And he gives him kind of a warning. He's like, Dream, I've been around a long time, and I can kind of sense the smell of death on people. He's like, and you fucking stink. Be careful, Dream Lord.
It was like this early in the story that I sat back and thought Dream likes the weirdest people. Some other people he doesn't give the time of day.
Yeah.
Some people don't even deserve his wrath. And then he just likes the biggest assholes. I don't get what his deal is.
Yes. When he's also just fine with leaving 3 women to their doom in the dream world that's gonna collapse earlier.
Right.
I can't be bothered. I have a meeting with Hob.
I'm going to the bar with Hobbs later, so whatever.
Hob, you know my friend Hob. Dreams Linda.
Oh God.
We're moving on. Lida is just going bonkers at this point. She is losing her shit. She's thinking back to when Dream vowed that he was going to take Daniel away from her. And she vows revenge. This is basically the turning point where she's like, I'm going to fucking get you, you dream bastard.
Lida, however you say it, stresses me out throughout this entire
God.
book. She is, she is like a hot mess throughout this and all. And it is just all I want is for something to happen so she's not, and you're just
so
it never does.
Release.
But she just keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
It's green shit smeared on her face. Her hair turns into snakes.
Yeah.
She has a rough go of it.
She really
It's
does.
a rotten apple.
Yeah.
She's a superhero though.
And we, we see that shard baby there too. So it really does
Char that baby.
Char that baby right up.
Turns out, fire chars baby.
Yeah, in case you were wondering. So yeah, she's lost it all. Now she's become the Punisher. So then we move on to check in with another character from a previous volume, Lucifer himself, who now owns a swanky nightclub, which I believe his own series is all about that. Him just running this cool nightclub.
Cool. Plays the piano.
Yep.
Yep.
You bet.
Doesn't take requests very well, but
It's like, no, you're gonna hear yakety sax on piano. It's an old favorite in the bowels of hell, playing all the time. Paul, you on YouTube over there? What are you doing? TikToking?
I'm watching some TikTok.
All right. And he is met here in his nightclub by Ramiel, one of the 2 angels that ended up taking the key to hell. And they're like, Lucifer, you want to come back, take over hell again? I mean, I know you love it there. We're just, it's not really for us.
yeah. I mean, we're having a good time doing it, but I think you did a little better.
Yeah, it's really your thing.
Yeah, we're just gonna do something else because it's not as fun as I thought.
Right. And he basically says, no, fuck off. And he returns to hell. And I like that there at the bottom of the panel, he is hanging out with the other angel, who is just fucking sprawled out.
Hanging out with his wang out.
Living his
with
best
no
life
dick.
there.
Yeah, with his freaking eunuch ass fucking sitting there.
Yeah. He couldn't look more at peace in the fires of hell with that key around his neck.
Right.
That's Duma, the one that doesn't talk.
I mean, at least it's warm there, I guess.
Oh, yeah. You gotta lose those clothes. I don't know what's up with them. I wonder if they're explored more in Lucifer. Anyone know? Anyone in the chat?
Yeah, anyone read
we ever
Lucifer?
get any end with these angels? Because it seems like they're up to no good.
Yeah.
Or they will be driven mad.
Well, I couldn't even tell you what they're actually up to because we get
having the
so
best lounge of their life. Yeah.
We're getting so little of them in this book, and it feels like maybe we should pay. I feel like as much attention that was paid to it early on, like they made a big deal about him leaving Hell and all that shit, and then these guys were taking over. And then we don't see him up until now, like in Volume 9.
Well, Gaiman had to tell that story about cats, so...
And he had a great Thor yarn that he was waiting to get out.
I stand corrected. It all turns out all right.
Yeah.
All comes out in the end. So, Lita encounters several fantastical creatures as she walks through perpetual madness.
Yeah.
Down the streets, encountering like streetwalkers and bums, but she's perceiving them as like Cyclops and other creatures.
Yeah.
Not Cyclops from the X-Men. He's Golden Boy, but an actual
Yeah.
mythical Cyclops.
Yes.
Before she stumbles on this cottage of three very creepy women, and they basically invite her to be their new sister in the form of like Medusa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the spider women that we've seen earlier, correct?
No, it's not. It's two other weird veiled women because we get the spider women again.
I thought these were it.
I don't think so.
Well,
No, because they had different names. It was Zarda and something.
I don't remember what their names
You don't know
are.
names. It's not them. I think they're just supposed to be like the mythical sisters of Medusa.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Moving
Doesn't
on.
amount to much.
No, I guess it's not worth arguing.
Nope. If you go to the next one, Paul, they invite her to be part of their little clan.
Mm-hmm.
She turns it down. She's like, no, I'm good. Just revenge for me, thank you.
Yeah.
And she goes on their way. They do feed her, though, and she absorbs some snakes, I guess, because now she has snakes in her hair.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's also a line in this. As we go on, there's a lot of really good lines that I'm gonna bore you with.
Please
But
do.
this might be the first that I really liked. And they say, if you stayed with us, we'd give you life until death. And she says, don't I get that anyway? And then leaves.
Yeah.
It's like,
Got their ass.
got him. Jack and mate.
You idiot. So some of this I couldn't tell, like, because she can, like, traverse into, like, dream and real life. It seems like at will. 'Cause I don't really know her whole story.
I think she's just
Concrete.
mad.
Is that what it is? Because
I think
I
that's how
figured
I
now
read it.
she's, like, not sleeping at all, so she's starting to, like, hallucinate.
Yeah.
And these things aren't really happening, but they kind of are.
Yeah. I mean, I think they are as much as anything else is happening in this book.
I mean, if it just is breaking her brain as much as it is, I guess it doesn't matter if it's really happening or not because she's still in a almost out of world state.
I would have thought she would have had a like an encounter with delirium.
She's
putzing
in
around.
this, but they
Yeah,
never
a lot.
cross paths, and
That's
I'm like,
true.
yeah, I mean, she's very much in like a state of delirium in
Right.
this.
Yeah.
How does that not pop up? I don't
She's
know.
looking for a dog.
Yeah.
Guess she's too busy. Can't be bothered. Gotta find Barnabas.
Yeah.
So now we are reintroduced to another character
Oh,
from the
boy.
past.
Yeah.
Way back from Volume 2, The Doll's House, we meet up with Rose Walker,
Yeah.
who is the granddaughter of Unity Kincaid, who is one of the women that went under that sleeping sickness when Dream was in prison for 100 years.
Yes.
Mhm.
And she basically had like a virgin birth, who was Rose's mother, and then Rose had her.
Yes.
And doesn't really mean anything other than it's just another
There's
tie
the
to
lineage.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of this is like the Sandman books are not about Sandman per se. They're about Sandman and everyone that he has had some sort of encounter with.
Yeah.
Or that he affected their life in some way.
Right.
And they're just as focused in the story as he is. And sometimes they don't really have much that goes on with them.
Right.
But it's like, but he touched their lives, and this is an example of how far his reach went.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of interesting.
I like her whole journey in this, but me and you were talking before the show. Like,
go back to us here.
It's
Because we're looking good.
her journey is a fun, and it takes a lot of time in this whole volume.
Mm-hmm.
But then we were saying, like, also it doesn't really amount to a whole lot to the main story.
I don't know.
But I had a good time with it at the
Yeah.
same time. So I don't know. It's like
the whole time Gaiman's kind of taking you along on this thing, and you're like, I wonder where this is going. And like, I'm enjoying it along the way. The journey is a destination, I guess, because
Yeah.
by the time they get to the destination, you're like, Oh, that's it.
There was just that, they just had, for her story, really, they just had that. The only thing I can think of that stands out was that little Easter egg where they went into the house in the secret compartment where Dream was held captive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple callbacks that we'll get to when we get to them.
Yeah.
But she ends up crossing paths with a lot of people from previous volumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's, I guess, kind of like the normal human character in this.
Yeah.
I mean, that isn't deranged or like a god.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just kind of like all this from also the human side of things.
It's also pretty far removed, though.
Yeah.
It's not like, because she doesn't interact with. It's
No,
like
she
her
doesn't even
own
know what's going
specific
on.
story.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
it's very strange.
Yeah. So let's go back to that one, Paul. We meet up with her again. A lot of ties here. She's friends with Carla, who is Lita's friend. And she was also babysitting baby Daniel when he was abducted.
Yeah.
And she says it was her responsibility to watch him. She doesn't feel guilty about it, but she said, I was responsible for him.
Yeah.
And responsibility is a very... this is a theme that is hammered down throughout this whole book, especially by Dream.
Right.
So I thought it was worth noting that she says that. She actually says it was my responsibility. And then she also has this kind of weird subplot where she's writing a thesis on triple goddesses in sitcoms.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she's like watching Roseanne.
Yeah. I never
And
put that
some
together.
other stuff. And it's, she's like writing a paper on all these like female-centric sitcoms.
So is
Like-
Roseanne the crone?
She's not the maiden.
I'm not sure.
We don't have time to try to match up. I was like, who's Murphy Brown? I think they're all the Crow. No, just kidding. They're wonderful. And then if we go back one more time there, Paul, there's a lot to cover. This is a long book. You guys know that?
A long book.
Now we are reintroduced to one of the Spider Sisters. It's Zelda, who is in hospice. She's the Spider Lady from Dollhouse, and I guess Rose was one of her only friends. She had a sister who died, and now she's the only one alive. She has AIDS, and Rose is paying for her hospice care. And as the Spider-Woman Zelda, I think, is drifting off, she says, like, oh, I had a dream where I met your grandmother, Unity, and she told me to tell you to return to where she was asleep for so long, which is England.
Yeah.
She has something for her. She says, I'll give you back your heart. She's like, what the fuck? Like, I had to really think back. She's like, oh, yeah, Unity, like, offered her heart to Dream to save Rose when they were in that dream vortex in Volume 2, I think. Like, oh, man. There's a lot to unpack right there.
Yeah.
So Rose is going to England.
England.
The big England.
Yeah.
And then one more here on my first fucking page of notes. Morpheus sends Matthew and the Corinthian on a mission, buddy cop style, to track down and retrieve Daniel. As they set out, Matthew vocalizes that he does not like the Corinthian. And they kind of have an exchange about, like, you eat eyeballs. And Corinthian's like, so do you. And Matthew's like, I'm a bird, it's my nature. And the Corinthian's like, fuck, I'm a nightmare, it's my nature. You're like, huh,
all right,
touche. All right, best friends. Off they go.
Yeah.
And then right as that issue ends, Carla receives a phantom message that Daniel might still be alive. And when she goes off to maybe try to do something about it, she is immediately burned up by Loki and killed.
Yeah.
So, just a very unceremonious death for someone that is pretty well-meaning through this whole thing. You're like, all right, I guess that's the end of her. I mean, frankly, we have enough characters to keep track of, so it's not too much skin off my back. But
boy, do we get the greatest tag team of all Sandmandom.
Sandmandom.
Yeah, the Corinthian and Matthew.
Oh.
What a great team.
Yeah, I could read a whole series about just those
two.
Yeah,
and it could just be called The Corinthian and Matthew. And I'd be like, I'm going to read it.
I really liked that duo quite a bit. And they are peppered in throughout this entire story. When they show up, I'm like, yeah, they're on a fucking grand adventure.
They are instrumental in this. They are like the MVPs of this book.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I also like too. Matthew is like asking more questions during this, which he should have asked way earlier.
So how long do I have to be a bird?
Yeah. How many more birds before me have there been? And
what happens to said birds?
Yeah. Asking for a friend.
Yeah. And no one gives him a straight answer.
No, even Dream is like, yeah, there's been many birds.
Yeah, don't worry about the birds. I don't keep track of all the birds.
I don't know.
Matthew.
Some birds are not birds anymore. Some birds are fucking dead. What do you want? Yeah. Like,
I do love Dream answers to him because they don't make him feel any better.
Yeah. Dream
I
is
feel
already
much worse now.
Dream,
Actually,
every time anybody asks Dream a question, he's in like the biggest state of like anxiety. He's like, I really don't have any time for any of this. Matthew, I'm going to be really short with you. Nuala, you want to ask me a question? What are you doing? What's your goddamn boon? Like, he is just not in it this whole volume.
no, bit distracted.
Yeah.
As Morpheus.
Yeah.
So, moving on, Rose arrives in England and meets a slew of other characters. Nope, that's just Carla burning up in that car again. All right. She goes to the nursing home that her grandmother stayed at in her sleep coma. That really long nap she took back in the 90s. I guess like from the 50s to the 90s.
Yeah.
This nursing home is run by Paul McGuire, who was the one-time like staff member and lover of Alex Burgess, the son of the man that imprisoned Morpheus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's some connections there.
Okay. I
And-
forgot about that detail completely.
Yeah. Roderick Burgess, he was the cultist that imprisoned Morpheus in the very first issue.
Yeah.
And he greets Rose, kind of shows her around, and then even takes him up to like his quarters where his boyfriend, spouse, lover is also in a sleep coma and has been for some time.
Yeah.
And he's like just kind of keeping watch over him. And as she leaves, he kind of mumbles, "Oh, the sins of the fathers, am I right? Sins of the fathers," which common phrase, but very, very important here.
Very apt.
Because they are both cursed by Burgess's sins of imprisoning Dream.
Mhm.
Dream is cursed for what he did to his own son. So, yeah, a lot of parallels. Heavy.
Wow.
Heavy. And then, if we jump to the next one here, Rose goes to check out Unity's old room and meets 3 old women. Wouldn't you know it? Who tell her a story of a cheating man and how his bastard children and infidelities came back to haunt him.
Yeah.
And basically they just say like, yeah, revenge is great. Have you tried it? Like,
Get into it
we're
sometime.
okay with revenge in this clique here. They tell how revenge is sanctified and that women shouldn't have to sleep their life away like her grandmother. They're not about the dreaming. They're about the real world. And then here's a quote they say that is poignant. Women are about waking. As mothers, we wake them from nothingness to existence. As maidens, we wake them to the joys and miseries of adulthood. And when time's up, we wash them the last time and lay them out for the wake. 3 women. Maiden, mother, crone.
I really liked her talking to those 3 women in that, I guess, home. I don't know what it is. But I like the little aside story, too, because the art changes for a little bit just to tell this story.
Yeah.
And it feels like a Neil Gaiman, like, other story inside of this.
Story within a story.
Which I kind of missed by the time I got here.
It might be about the only one.
Yeah.
Other than Loki's great story about Thor, you know.
But
Classic one I'll get to my kids later before bed.
And it was a horrible, depressing story, like many fables are or whatever. But they even bring that up in the story. It's like, yeah, I heard that. But they changed it from the original fable, which was horribly depressing and very violent, right? Oh, yeah. And here's one for you, too.
Yeah. Got another one. You like that? Want to see something? So back in the dreaming, Morpheus runs into Odin.
Yes.
We get a lot of them. A lot of the
Norse.
Scandinavian, the Norse myths. Odin confronts him about releasing Loki, which he did back in the Gates of Hell one, whatever one that was.
Yeah.
And he asks him, did you do it for a favor? Like, why'd you do this? Why'd you fucking strike up a deal with Loki? He's awful, if you haven't noticed. He is a terrible person.
Yeah.
And he says, did you do it for a favor? And Dream says, something like that. It's just about as mysterious as our friend Paul here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very. Also, Cogliostro fucking looking Odin over here. I always like am shocked at that's Odin.
Yeah.
Like,
Old one eye.
just fucking an old man in a hat. Like,
Yeah. Where's his raven? Does Odin have some ravens?
Yeah, he's
Look
got
at them right now. Are they?
Oh, that's your ghost ravens.
Oh, Ghost Raven.
Hugin and Munin. Those are their actual names.
Bergen and Durgan, what'd you say?
Now, Hugin and Munin.
Hugin and
just
Bert
forget
Davloff.
Bert Davloff and Squirts Pavlov, or whatever.
Oh, long-time friends of the show. First-time commenters. So we just kind of get the impression, maybe it's a throwaway line, but you kind of get the impression like, oh, Dream's planning something with Loki. Maybe his plans went awry when Loki, set all this shit in motion. But
And
maybe
on
they didn't.
fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
But maybe they didn't.
Okay.
And on that same page, if we jump back, Paul, we also see old Delirium. She is meeting with her brother Destiny, and he's just splitting in twain.
Yeah.
Apparently, this story has several outcomes right now. And as it goes on, there's more and more Destinies, and they're just wandering around. Like, if it was a Scooby-Doo cartoon, they'd all be running back and forth going into that multi-doored hallway.
His whole thing was, I liked Destiny's. Every time I looked at his like little garden land or whatever, and there's like a bunch of Destinies walking around. I like that visual image, but it took me, I'm not gonna lie, a minute to realize it's like, oh, there's a ton of outcomes to this story, and it's just slowly getting narrowed down until it finally gets whittled down to.
It's not
one.
like it's trying to show Spider-Man in motion doing like a bunch of backflips and a
Yeah.
kick.
Yeah.
That Destiny, he's just zip-zap zooming all around that garden.
What I will give Destiny here, though, is I like that he was actually kind of directly helpful for once. Usually, well, like he was.
Doesn't he tell her Dream is not going to help you find your dog?
That was pretty helpful.
I guess so.
But she was like, should I see him? And he's like, I don't know, but I think you should. Wink. Like
I wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
All of them turn around and wink.
Yeah.
So, moving on, Lita, in her state of just confounding confusion, is picked up by Larissa, she calls herself, but keen-eyed readers will see that is none other than Thessaly
Yes.
from the Cuckoo story.
Yeah.
And as it unfolds, a one-time lover of Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And some sort of American witch, I guess.
Yeah.
Did she say that, or did I watch some other show with an American witch in it?
It's a Rob Zombie song about an American witch. It's called The American Witch.
I think I watched a Naked and Afraid where there's somebody with an American witch in it.
Well, they missed a great theme song tie-in opportunity. Unless they did tie it in. Who's to say? I don't know how much Rob Zombie charges for royalties. He's got to be living large.
Thessaly! I love it! Thessaly!
Oh yeah, got a lot of show to get through.
Yeah.
Barely scratched the surface.
She hasn't even smothered someone with green paste yet.
So Thessaly picks up Lita and takes her back to her lodge, her apartment.
Yeah.
And she says, like, I'm going to protect you. You're in danger. I'm going to put this little circle around you. I'm going to smear some green paint on your face.
Yep. Green shit on you.
You're going to have a great time. Have a great time in my house.
Yep.
We're going to paint each other's fingernails.
Yeah, I guess I'll sleep in the tub. I guess.
There's not going to be a severed face in there with me this time, so it'll be quieter, I guess.
Except for the screaming goat baby that I
That I have to butcher. If you can go back to that page, Paul.
Shoot.
I don't have a visual of the screaming goat baby, unfortunately. But we do see Lita here. She's kind of taking a break from her madness, or maybe she's dipping further into it. She's looking in a mirror and seeing all of her past selves, and also the opportunities that she could have for her own destiny. They're basically saying, like, just stop this. You can stop this right now. You can go back to your normal life. And then if you jump to the next page, Paul, she's like, fuck you, I cannot. Hold on. Probably would have been better. There we go. And she smashes that mirror, and she's like, I can't. I've set my course. I gotta see this through. Gotta get revenge for Daniel. For Daniel! And then that path leads her to the kindly ones in the flesh for the first time.
Yep.
And they're like, oh boy, do we got something for you, lady.
Oh, yeah.
Around this time, we were also reintroduced to old Gilbert.
Oh, my God.
Fiddler's
Green! Who?
Dream is meeting him. They're just having a chat. Dream is just kind of like tying up all loose ends, because I think he knows it's not going to end well.
Nope.
For anybody. And their conversations kind of mirror each other, Gilbert and Dream, because Dream says he punished Fiddler's Green by putting him back in this dream world when Fiddler wanted to go off and live life, basically.
Yeah.
And Dream says he did that because he has to fulfill his own responsibilities. Dream's got all these duties to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a guy that's like, I gotta do my work. He's so concentrated about like his job, like it's just hinging on him. When all this guy does is just sit around while people dream. What kind of responsibilities does Dream have?
Oh, he's drinking with Hob.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna be at the bar with Hob. I got shit to do.
I'm gonna be late at the office tonight, Thessaly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I do like the little concept of like what your duty is, because that was Destruction's whole thing too, and that kind of comes back.
Oh,
in
yeah,
this
that's true.
volume as well. So it's kind of a nice little callback to that.
Yep. And then if we jump to the next one, this is where things really go south. So Lita asks the kindly ones for vengeance. She's like, dish best served cold, I've heard. I'd like to order some of that, please. The kindly ones tell her, I'm sorry, we can only avenge blood debts. So even if Dream did kill your kid, it's not his kid, so we can't do anything. They're like, if he killed his kid, then we could do something. She's like, well, shit. And then Lita leaves, and they're like, he did kill his kid. They're like, oh, that's a horse of a different color. And she heads back in. And it's all coming home to roost now.
God, these horses, roosters, what the fuck animal are you talking about, Dave?
Horses can roost. Paul?
Tell us, yes or no, horses roost? That's a thumbs
yeah,
up, horses
alright.
roost,
I guess they
okay.
It's like you just crafted the Corinthian.
So,
I love that page there. By
That
the way.
page is good.
That was like a mic drop moment where I'm like, oh, fucking Gaiman, that was good.
yeah.
There is a thing that I'm not like a huge fan of in this, and it's like
Words.
words one, but also like the fact that like more shit gets added to the pile where it's these women are like, oh, they're even older than Dream and all these other people.
These kindly ones been around
like
forever.
Forever, and they only fucking do this one thing where they get revenge on people who kill their family or whatever. It's like, that is so fucking specific.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't do anything else but like spin yarns and kill blood feuds or whatever.
I guess back then everyone was kind of from the same family though, so
Right.
that's how it started.
I guess spin narrows down to that specific. I guess that makes total sense.
Yep.
I hate it.
Just killing
But
people.
now I love
guess.
it.
All right.
Wow.
So moving on, Dream is just getting his affairs in order. He's still putzing around, tiptoeing from dream to dream, being counsel of some like African deliberations. There's one panel that Neil, I think you'll really appreciate here. Going around the universe, he says he gave an elderly tortoise alone on her island for 2 centuries a dream of her love, roasted by passing sailors long since. God, warms your heart.
Doesn't it ever?
He just gave a turtle a nice dream. What a guy.
Pretty great. Tortoise.
Same thing.
All tortoises are turtles, not all turtles are tortoises.
I don't care. I deserve it.
And then on that same page, he also goes to a park and feeds some pigeons until he saw a sign that told him not to. And then he promptly stopped. And then he walks along the park a little bit and sees a performance of Midsummer Night's Dream. And he says he was mildly disappointed by the translation. I just love how, like, ambivalent he is on anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and meet this African colony, then I'm gonna go and give a turtle a dream, and then I'm gonna watch him play and be nonplussed by it.
But he likes feeding birds.
He sure does.
He loves feeding birds.
Yeah.
It's like his national pastime.
Sorry, honey, I gotta go to work.
That's what you do in the dreamland. You just spread some bread around and birds eat it. The ravens love it. They're not pecking out eyes, they're eating these crows.
That's right. Attacking the pigeons. So, Delirium then visits Dream, asks to find that dog.
Mm-hmm.
I kept feeling like, did I miss something? When did this dog go missing? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Inconsequential until it is like the most uplifting part of the whole book.
Yeah. I vaguely remembered that dog, and I'm like, was that important enough?
It was Destruction's dog.
Yeah,
but no, it wasn't.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed.
He says he won't help her because he has responsibilities in the dreaming. And she says, the things that they do, the Endless, make echoes, and that their existence deforms the universe. That's responsibility. Not the shit you talk about, Dream. That's responsibility. I'm like, that's pretty good. Pretty good, sister. Meanwhile, Corinthian and Matthew just having a rollicking good time.
I'm gonna eat these eyes.
Yep, they've determined that Loki is behind the missing child because he eats the eyes of someone, Carla, that was killed by Loki.
Yeah.
And is this the first time we've seen him actually, like, do this? Where, like, he chomps them and then opens up the mouth and he's seeing through her eyes? That is a pretty great visual.
Yeah. I know
no pun intended.
Well, I know he's obsessed with eyes, but I think this is the first time he like says that he could actually do this, right? I don't remember it before.
Them, but yeah, I don't remember him
just sticking them in. He's like, no, I can see what they saw.
Through my mouth eyes.
Morpheus made some upgrades.
There we go.
He rewrote the code.
Yeah. He was giving a thumbs up.
It's like, this is one of my best nightmares.
He's the T-1000 to the T-800 of Corinthians.
That's right. Or the new upgraded agents that were just like the same agents.
Let's not talk. Let's not get into it.
So let's see. Got anything to add?
What if he makes a new Corinthian that his ears are also mouths?
Everything's only a matter of time before it's his asshole.
Everything's a mouth.
Or his mouth is
another mouth.
an infinity pool of mouths.
I was gonna say it's almost like a xenomorph if he has a mouth within the mouth, unless there's a mouth within that mouth.
Yeah.
Stories within stories. Mouths within mouths.
Gaiman.
What's the chat think about all this mouths?
What do you think about this mouth talk? Also, Gaiman, if that's not in the same Netflix show, I'm out.
Yep.
If there's not a mouth within a mouth, it's not worth mouthing. I don't know. I'm drunk.
Was that a play on nothing? Alright. So, around this time, the kindly ones arrive at Dream's castle. They're ready to cash that blood debt out of his ass. And the guards there are like, no, you don't. And they're like, actually, yes, we do. And they fucking waste him away.
Oh, holy shit! I'm dead.
And then Dream turns around. They catch him mid-turn there. Great image. And you only see him in shadows, which is kind of cool.
Right.
So I wondered, is it the three of them that are attacking, or is it Lita? I think it's just Lita that's actually doing anything.
Oh, really?
I thought so. Like, they're basically, like, empowering her. Like, they've given her a couple upgrades.
Yeah.
Who knows how many mouths she's got.
Fuck!
She might have nipple mouths.
Oh!
Like this on Hell.
Hell yeah.
Started.
But, yeah, she's, I think, like, the agent of destruction here. Even though it never shows it.
I never
only see
put
the
that
shadows.
together.
I never went that way. I have found it weird that they are never shown in the dream realm. You just know that they're there. It's like a looming presence of them.
Mm-hmm.
I found that a little bizarre, but I never went that direction with it.
Same.
Okay.
But I like that.
Yeah.
Chat?
Yep, chat.
What do you think?
Alright, so now let's go back into the real world. Rose visits Paul's house, the old Burgess mansion, the old Burgess place, and finds the cellar where Dream was imprisoned way back when. And Desire is there, waiting for her. And Desire mentions that she is their granddaughter. and that they impregnated Unity in her sleep. Which I think we knew that, but that's weird to say out loud and also read on the paper.
Yeah.
Around this time, Rose is kind of down because she had like a one-night stand with this guy out there, and she's kind of bummed that fell apart. Right. And I guess she's just kind of a big old horn dog, she says.
A little bit.
And their Desire says, like, she's not here to hurt her, or they're not here to hurt her, but they might with love. And Rose says, which I think is a great quote here, "Love is horrible. It makes you vulnerable, opens your heart for someone to get inside you and mess you up. You build up your defenses until someone comes along, and then your life isn't your own anymore. Love takes you hostage. It can hurt the soul, the body, the mind. Nothing should be able to do that, especially not love." And then she awakens to find Desire's silver heart lighter. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
There. So was that the heart that her grandmother was going to give back to her?
That's
Because
what I took it as.
nothing happens with that, unless it's coming up in the next volume. But I was like, that was kind of weird, and I forgot about it completely until I went back to kind of take notes for this.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked her take on love.
Yeah,
Don't agree with it, but it is it's pretty well said.
Yeah,
and I paraphrased that. There was a little bit more.
The whole thing where she goes off to England and like finds a new. Because I don't even know if it's love that she got for this man. Who
I don't think so.
Was this bellhop? Concierge?
Just
I don't know. But like she has like an attraction to him, and she finds him nice, and it's like a weird, like, hey, I'm going out. It's like under the Tuscan sun or some shit like that.
Two ships passing in the night.
Right, and like she really falls for this guy. She says, "Hey, if you're keen, meet me in my room. I'll be there, ready to bang." And he shows up, and I guess they bang a lot.
Yeah.
In one night.
Comes over, flips open the condom thing.
She says like it took him a while because he had to drive to a couple stores to buy some condoms.
Like that they had safe sex. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Although the condom breaks.
Oh yeah. And she doesn't use a spermicidal lube.
No, that was an odd line. Like, you don't need to say that.
Yeah.
You can just
covering all the bases.
You can just say the condom broke. I understand that. And we also didn't use spermicidal lube. Okay, fucking nerd.
And I didn't have a sponge or a daemon.
Okay, I get it.
We're in the 90s.
And I was laying down instead of standing up. The deck was stacked.
He pile drove me, and that's how it really got me.
But really got in there.
Also, the conversation she has over the phone with him, I thought was actually a good story point for her story or whatever, where she realizes on the phone him not speaking like exactly like mirroring her answers.
Yeah, he's
like,
kind of talking in
there's
code.
somebody else there, isn't there? Yes, it's your wife, isn't it? Yes.
Yep.
It's like,
maybe.
Click. Well, my life sucks. That's pretty much how it goes. But that was a fun little moment, though. Like, it's like
for us.
Yeah, I mean, not for her. Obviously, horrible for her. But like, it's a cool human moment. That's like a, I don't know.
Yeah,
fun thing of a story.
She brings the humanity on this one.
I liked it. That's all I'm trying to say.
All right.
Condoms.
Yeah.
Wear them.
Wear 2.
No.
No.
You gotta wear 3.
Yeah. That's right.
A backup for the backup.
So
I'm gonna feel shit.
Can you imagine 3 fucking condoms?
Anyway.
You'd lose a few inside somebody.
I thought I had 3. Came out with negative condoms. Did one go in me? So Corinthian and Matthew, they're following a hot lead.
Yeah.
They're tracing that yarn. It's leading them right to that goddamn fireplace. And they see Dream there, and he's like, "Hey, guess what? Your quest is over. Head back." Matthew's like, "All right, let's go." And Corinthian's like, "I don't think that's him. That's not him. I can tell. I can smell him."
Yeah.
And he's like, "If you're him, then just send me back yourself. You should be able to do that."
Right.
And he can't. And he's like, "I fucking knew it, you goddamn bitch." And he chokes him. And it's Loki in disguise. And Corinthian, best blasts him and then eats his eyes.
Yeah.
The only thing I love this moment, but the only thing that I was like I couldn't work out the like how it worked was like how an eye smiles. You know? I was like, what the fuck? Like muscles don't work like that, but
It's the Corinthian man.
Corinthian's perfect.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
For
Also,
the Corinthian.
moral of the story: anyone you don't trust, choke them.
And then
That's
eat their
true.
eyes.
Then.
get
Try,
the thumb
thumbs
up
up for Corinthian.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
There we
Perfect
go.
Corinthian.
Oh, do we lose speed, Paul? Too many thumbs
It was
up.
too perfect.
All right. So from here, Dream pays another visit to someone from the past, someone that we have seen already in this. This is Larissa, or Thessaly.
Yep.
His scorned ex, I guess. And he basically shows up in her apartment ready to kill Hippolyta.
Yep.
And she's like, you can't, why are you doing this? He's like, well, I don't have any choice. It's my responsibility. I have no choice in this matter. And she's like, but you can't without breaking the rules. And he's like, God damn it, got me. Catch 22. Because she's got her, like,
Goat blood.
goat blooded off in a protective circle. And she's like, you've been trapped in a circle before, haven't you? He's like, yeah, I can see why I dumped you, bitch. And he says to her, you know, I didn't ever intend to hurt you. And she's like, well, intent and outcome are so rarely coincident, aren't they? Like, good one. I might use
Dumb
that
bitch.
later. Yeah.
What do you say, 4 eyes?
So I thought it was, like, I don't know if I really would have picked up that she is the one that he's moping over in that previous volume, where
no.
he's just making it rain. I think we found out, someone told us, it might have been in the Discord, they're like, yeah, I think it's that witch girl. I was like, her?
Her?
She funny or something? But yeah, they had a thing, I guess, and he was really down when it ended, but we don't ever see that.
She's the American witch.
American witch. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice Rob Zombie callback there.
You bet. So that was that. They were like at odds with each other. She's like, "Fuck you! You can't touch her. She's under my protection. I don't even like her. I'm just kind of doing this to get back at you." And he goes and leaves. And next up, shit is going down in the dream realm. Fiddler Green
Oh, don't even. I don't want to see it.
dead.
No!
The ravens eating his eyes.
He got speared. He's
Got
like,
speared.
Not Matthew though.
No,
Other ravens.
Matthew is not partaking.
Yeah, that's right.
He's letting those eyes just rest on those greener pastures in memoriam. And they also mention that all of the ravens across the world are flocking to the dreaming. They're like, apparently there's a castle where there's a bunch of ravens. Gone. In the dreaming now. Also, some other shit's going down. They're cutting the string on old Daniel.
Yeah.
So Corinthian grabs him, and he's like, all right, I'm going to take you back. And he finds that Puck is also there, the little hobgoblin, whatever he is, from Midsummer Night's Dream, and him and Loki cooked up this whole thing. Like, what the fuck? What's this little shit doing, this imp?
This like little detail like came out of nowhere for me because like I know Loki was in the story before and he's being tortured by being bound by his like son's guts and is getting acid dripped on him or whatever the fuck is going on. But like to him to be able to like have escaped that and like and now is up to the like but why them?
Yeah.
I guess.
Why them as in Loki?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why them and Puck? Like what are they getting out of this? Like, what strife do they have, I guess?
Because they're tricksters.
Like, yeah, sure, but like, that seems like a like a tall order to be like, you know what we should do?
You ever burned a kid?
You ever burned a kid who may be Dream's kid or whatever, and maybe we know that? I don't know. Like, it's like, I'm just a horny goat guy. I don't know. It seemed odd. Like I know Loki was in this before, but like it just seemed like odd to bring him back because like even before then I didn't find of any consequence that he was in the story at all. Even
Maybe it's that I don't know much about Midsummer Night's Dream, so all the Puck references kind of elude me.
Yeah,
I don't really care much for him.
Yeah.
So maybe if I had more of a background in that, it would be hit home better. But yeah, I don't don't care for him. I don't like him. That's that.
That's all right. And maybe it was so they didn't have to introduce more characters. But even then, I found it like an odd. Like, why they bring them back? Like, to me, it's no consequence, and it just seems like adding more.
Well, it had to be someone that does this, so I guess he picked someone that we kind of had set up already.
Yeah.
And I think there might be a reasoning behind some of this as we go on.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
But yeah, Daniel is separated there from his thread. So Paul's just monkeying with the equipment here. I think we had a camera go down. Is that it? But the stream is still going. Can you believe the professionalism?
Wow.
Paul, I don't want to put you on a spot, but you said you had to photograph a dead body today.
Was it a baby in a fire?
I did, yeah. True story.
Yeah. Set the tone for the night very early.
Our mysterious friend Paul also works.
He's a reporter. He isn't like a sicko.
Yeah.
He isn't Jude Law from Road to Perdition. So when Corinthian breaks that thread, what did you think that was? Is he separating Daniel's body from his dead body from his dream consciousness?
I didn't
like,
really
pulls
know.
him down.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to take it because obviously it's attached to the three women, right? Because they're the ones that spin yarns and.
I think they're different threads.
Are they?
I thought
because
so.
I thought they were all connected type. Like, Neil, you're the tiebreaker. God!
I'm gonna agree and disagree.
I honestly wasn't 100% sure on what the context was behind that.
Okay.
I couldn't say whether or not it was this or I would assume it was the maiden mother crone type yarn type thing.
Right.
But I couldn't say it's very left up in the air on whether or not like
I mean, he is floating in the air, so maybe it was just to tie him down.
maybe
then fly away.
Loki was like,
like
I'm gonna fill him with helium. I don't know.
Did I tell you what I filled my brother Thor with?
Weigh him
comes
down
back.
though.
I think they mentioned that there is a tie to the physical body and the dreaming, and that's what the thread was. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
If anyone wants to chime in, we've been kind of ignoring the chat. Is there anything that we should be?
We're good.
All right. Well,
thanks for joining them.
yeah. So if we go back into the dreaming, more of our fan favorites are just being butchered.
Oh, fuck.
Abel, dead again.
Well,
this time not by Kane. Poor Merv goes down
my God.
in a blaze of glory.
That was unfortunate. He just gets his pumpkin head ass blown up or whatever.
Yeah. But he's like, hey, Luce, check this out.
Lady, I'm your worst nightmare. A pumpkin with a gun.
He's so
Say
great.
hello to my little friend.
Over
He
there.
gets shot.
Yeah. Just riddled with bullets.
Yeah.
So what's funny is like Merv was introduced in like what volume 6, like
Yeah, probably.
in the latter half of the story, and he's like the best thing. I feel like Gaiman was like, I've got the coolest thing right now.
Right.
I'm putting him in.
And I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but I know this room
Big
fell
Merv
in love
fans.
with Merv real quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Teamster of the Dreamster. I believe
Yeah.
Sam
Yeah.
coined the term.
Yeah, I love it.
He's
Theme of the show,
amazing.
Sam.
Oh yeah.
And the kindly ones will keep killing until they get to dream. They've said it.
Yeah.
It's written.
Mm-hmm.
They probably crocheted some sort of needlepoint saying that. We do get Puck's reasoning. It's in my notes here.
Oh,
Let's
great.
go. Let's see what it is. I'll
Let's
play
hear
the
it.
clip. By the clip, I mean the next one, the next page. I don't want to confuse you. You've got enough going on.
He sent in a voicemail. Let's hear it.
Puck reveals that his motive for revenge was how Morpheus treated Nuala.
I get. Okay.
Was he the one that he tried
How
to?
does he know how he treated her?
I don't fucking know. I didn't write the
Well, I'm
goddamn
just
book.
saying, like, it's a hypothetical, you dumb bitch.
Oh god. So okay, was Puck or was Nuala the one he was trying to sleep with in that one issue?
Maybe
Oh shit, I don't remember.
in the Midsummer Night's Dream one.
Right.
I know Puck was running amok.
He was
during
like-
that.
He was like, I want to bang you.
He's like, I'm gonna be in the play, and I'm gonna bang her, and I'm gonna run off into Dreamland. We're in the real world. I don't know. I didn't like that one very much. I kind of forgot a lot of it. But he was running amok. Pucks amok.
Pucks amok.
Well, he tells this to Nuala, and she's like, "Oh shit, I need to check on Morpheus." Morpheus, I'm ready for my boon. Boon me, baby.
Oh yeah.
And Morpheus arrives because
reluctantly.
Oh my god,
got a boon call.
I love how mad he is. He's like, "What do you have?" And she's like, "I just want to talk." He's like, "Ooh!" God,
I know.
damn.
This is your boon.
I read this as like so passive aggressive. Like, I need a boon. And he shows up. What do you need?
What do you need?
Like, anytime
Just
you
wanted
said
to talk?
just a boon. I just want to talk. This really isn't a great time. Okay, there's a lot of shit going down, and now I'm out of things. I'm really vulnerable right now. But you said anytime. I know. But this is not a great time. Any other? Can we do it at another time? No. Okay.
What you want to talk about?
What do you want?
She's like, so how you doing? Not great. These kindly women are trying to kill me. Oh, that's pretty bad. Well, as long as I'm in the dreaming, they'll be okay. But you're not in the dreaming.
No, I'm not. Am
Yeah, I know.
No.
You fucking booned me here. You're booning me, Nuala. You're booning me.
Oh, shit. Great.
That was good.
Anyway, he doesn't even really boon her.
No, he just shows up. Waste of a good boon.
Yeah.
So, Paul, if you go to the next one, 29. So he's just kind of, he's like, well, I'm here. I might as well fucking lay it all out. And she says, like, you want them to punish you, don't you? For your son's death. And he says, I told Ishtar, I think that was Thessaly. He calls her Ishtar.
I don't know.
Who knows? Who fucking knows? He says, I told her it wasn't, like, I told her that I did not change, but I think I lied to her. And then she's like, I did not mean to harm you. And he's like, well, intent and outcome, rarely coincident. Wow. Got that from old Thessaly.
Oh.
I always feel like I'm lisping when I start to say her name. I'm halfway through as I pause. I'm like, no, that was right. And basically they're ready to go. And she says, like, well, you know what? I love you. Nuala's telling him this.
Yeah.
He's like, really? I had no idea. She's like, you really? You had no idea. He's like, I've always loved you. He's like, well, he is so fucking oblivious to all the women that he scorns.
This is awkward.
Yeah. He's like, well, I gotta go. And he offers her a dream of his love as he leaves. And she says, I already have that, my love. My lord, she calls him. She doesn't call him love. But she's basically like, yeah, that's nothing, because I love you. So that's
Right.
what I've been carrying with me this whole time.
And he's like,
So I didn't want to leave your fucking dream castle.
well, that was your boon. Sorry, you
Yep.
wasted a boon. I'm
That was
out of
the boon.
here. Well, I don't love you for real, so I'm out of here. Yeah.
Also, no more boons.
Yeah.
You done been booned. Does everything that Morpheus does just result from women he scorned in the past?
It
I think
seems
so.
like it. At
He
least
is
a lot of
shit
it.
bloke.
Yeah.
If we could quote our British friends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Booner's back, baby.
Yes.
Good one, Ben.
Oh man. So then we check in on Destiny. He's still putzing around that garden,
Yeah.
just mowing swaths
Yeah.
in that yard.
Talking to himself, probably.
Yep, and he says, as the events happen, the conflicting destinies will merge into a whole. This will be felt across worlds and days as a reality storm. Bring back any memories?
Of that
The World's
reality
End?
storm?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So that's what we got a taste of back in the tavern. Is that the last one we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
God, felt like ages ago.
Yeah.
Felt like a different life.
It was pretty long.
Mhm. And then we get a bit of a throwdown. And we also see all the destinies converging there. There's fewer and fewer. And then the next one, the kindly ones attack Dream, and they scar him. He's actually bleeding, and he's pissed. He's like, "How fucking dare you!" They're using Lida as their instrument, I believe. Like, she's just, look at her all garbed up there. I think she's, like, physically doing this. And they're just, like, kind of possessing her.
And she's got, like, the power of an Amazon, right?
Looks like it, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
And when she attacks, she sees that Daniel is there, and she's like, "Oh shit, he's alive!" And they're like, "No, he's not alive. He might not be dead, but he's not alive." And she's like, "I don't want to do this anymore." And they're like, "Well, tough shit, we're doing it.
Yeah.
You made your choice. Revenge. We're doing the revenge."
Yep.
Anything else? I think we can stop here. Should we just
Wow!
continue this later?
Wow!
I think there's still a lot of notes. I'm just kind of over it.
Well, I mean, at this point,
Not really. I just need a breather here.
At this point, there's not like, I feel like a whole lot that really transpires. There's a big thing that transpires, but not a whole lot more really to carry on forward.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
This was kind of not the climax, but this is
denouement.
Sure. So Dream is like, all right, I gotta get myself ready. I gotta gear up. Paul, you know a thing or two about gearing up.
Look at
Guns
that.
and guards.
That's right.
Guns and guards.
Yep.
We got 'em.
We got
need 'em.
You want them? You need them. We got them. Oh my god.
But yeah,
So Dream gears up,
gears
prepares
up.
for the final confrontation. He says, "Rules and responsibilities, these are the ties that bind us. We do what we do because of who we are. If we did otherwise, we wouldn't be ourselves. I will do what I have to do, and I will do what I must." And he puts on that helm and flame coat.
That's right. It's been a while since we've seen a flame coat.
God, I love that.
There's only like very random panels where there's a flame coat in
I
this.
know. Depends if Sam Keith draws it or not.
That's true.
I think he was all in on the flame coat. And then if we jump to the next one here, they're getting ready to go into battle. Matthew perched on his shoulder, ready to take off into the night.
Yeah.
Like
Asking
we
a lot
said.
of questions.
Oh yeah. Like, Matthew, is this the time and the place? And Matthew says, "Do you honestly expect to come back from this?" Dream says, "No, not really." Matthew's like, "If I came with you, would I come back?"
No,
Dream
not
says,
really.
"I doubt it." He says, "Penny for your thoughts, Matthew." And Matthew says, "What am I going to do with a penny? I was thinking about duty and second chances. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go knock him dead." I'm channeling Merv there.
Yeah,
The reincarnation of
course,
Merv is
yeah.
Matthew
Yeah.
in his badass state. And off they go into the night. Great visual. Something finally happening.
Yes. Well,
Short-lived, mind you.
something finally happening in the fact that like there's 1,000 things happening at once at any given point in time in the story.
And I
mean,
love that
ramp it up the ass.
everyone only wants to talk to Dream at the most inconvenient time and ask him questions, and he's like, "I don't want to answer your questions."
Why does anyone have any questions now?
We've had like 1 billion years to ask me these questions.
So what were the other ravens like?
Yeah. It's like when my kids only want to ask me questions when I'm trying to like make dinner.
Or when it's bedtime.
It's like you need to shut up and go to bed and or just go away from me.
Do you want me to drop this knife in my foot?
I'll do it. I'll do it
It's
again.
easy.
So, in the midst of all this, we're reintroduced to yet another character, and this is Hal, the landlord from the dollhouse.
Yeah.
And he has a drag persona named Vixen, who's just a sassy bitch.
Yeah.
And she is visited by Rose. This is kind of an inconsequential moment, but we just get another character back. She asks Hal to attend Zelda's funeral because she died.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nah, I don't got time for that.
Right.
Life's short."
Right.
He tells her.
Pretty shitty.
Yep. But this does kind of come back again here. And shortly after that, we check in on Delirium and Lucifer, and they have a little chat. And basically, Lucifer's saying, like, yeah, Dream's, he's in a bad way right now. This isn't going to work out well for him. I told him there was always freedom to leave. And Delirium says, "I don't think Dream can leave." And Lucifer's like, "Yeah, I don't think he can either." he's not gonna do it. And then this is the other page here where Matthew asked Dream what happened with the other ravens, which we already got into, and he's been asking that to everyone. But Dream responds, says, "Some tired and went on to Death's realm. One returned to humanity. It was what he thought he wanted. And two stayed in the dreaming, and one of them was Lucian."
Mm-hmm.
So Lucian was a previous raven. What do you think the one was that went back to being a human?
I don't know.
I wondered, like, do you think it was Matthew?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like,
Wow.
that seems like a weird thing to drop and then not follow up. I was like, I wonder if it was Matt Cable, who was a raven at one point, and then went and became Matt Cable from Swamp Thing and died, and then Dream took him back, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that's ever resolved. If anyone knows in the chat, let us know.
That's a cool wrinkle, if so. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, and he just throws it out there, like, yeah, one thought he wanted to be human again.
But every time he says it, he does say it like that. He's like, one thought he wanted to be human, and I'm just like,
Like,
let me know.
can
on
you
that
expand?
story.
He's like, not now.
Yeah.
I have to
fucking
die
busy.
now.
Yeah, I turned that one back human. Bad ending. Bad ending for that bloke.
Around this time, Nuala decides she's back in the Fairy Kingdom. She decides she doesn't want anything to do with it. She's like, you know what? I gained my independence being a servant to Dream, I guess. And you know what? I don't want to look like a fairy either. I want my ugly garb back.
Give me my rags back.
Get rid of this visage.
I want to be Cinderella under the thumb of her evil stepmother.
I want to be Benjamin Button Cinderella. Cinderella in reverse. They pull a thread and the whole veneer falls to the ground.
Yeah.
And then the kindly ones arrive to show down with Dream. Dream sends Matthew back to the castle with his helm and his pouch.
Here, I've made them small.
So you can carry them in your tiny beak. And he tells him to send his sister to meet him up on this cliff. Hoo boy.
Yeah.
I think we're on the last issue now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I apologize if people don't like listening to us just list things that happen. I don't know how else to talk about this in depth. Sometimes I feel like we're just going through it, but it's the full-on book club experience. So we're touching on everything.
And we're very much abridging this as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're on the 9th volume, so it's too late now. We'll probably do an all-encompassing Sandman episode once it's all over, but we're getting it all out. Putting everything down.
Yeah.
So, Bert, someone ringing? Is that someone calling in saying like, yeah, they don't like this?
Warner Bros are contacting you guys.
Oh, sweet.
Put them on.
Oh, no, sorry. Wrestle Bros.
Oh.
Warner Bros.
That's
no, screen that one. All right, let's get to it. Death arrives. They have a sit.
Yes.
They feed the birds.
Yes. As they are prone to do together.
That's right. And Dream tells her, I'm tired. Just so fucking tired, Death.
People asking me goddamn questions!
You know how many times I was asked about other ravens today?
You know how many booms I had to do today?
What's
One, but it was fucking annoying.
More than usual. And on the next page, Paul, Death says, the only reason you've gotten yourself into this mess is because this is where you wanted to be. There's personal responsibility too, not only the kind you're always talking about. So she's calling him out. She's like, you made your bed.
Yeah, sleep in that shit.
Yep. And Dream says, like, I could have fixed all this. It's not my fault. Nuala made me leave the dreaming. I could have. She's like, are you fucking kidding me, big bro? And he's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not her fault. That's on me. I don't blame Nuala. He says, you're right. This has nothing to do with her, and it has everything to do with me. And he says, since he killed his son, Orpheus, he hasn't been the same. He's felt caged, even in the freedom of the dreaming. And so many D's. Death says, you could have left. Like, could have just packed it up like destruction. And he's like, no, I could not. And she's like, no, you couldn't, could you? Which I think is, like, very telling of his personality. He's just like people. He's just not one of those people that changes.
Yeah.
That's what this whole fucking thing is. It's about a guy that won't change. To the point that it's killing him.
Yeah.
But he won't do it.
Yeah.
You know, he's like set in his habits.
Yeah.
And I love that moment where she's like, you could have done it. And he's like, no, I couldn't. She's like, yeah, you couldn't, could you? Like, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see like someone living in a small town having that conversation.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just being like, you could have got out of here. No, I couldn't. Like, no.
No, you couldn't.
You couldn't. And at this moment, Loki would check in on him, entwined in the pit,
Getting acid in his
venom
guts.
dripped in him. It says Loki realizes how ultimately, strangely, elegantly he too has been manipulated. So, I think some people theorize, and I would agree to this, that Dream set all of this in motion so that he could end his life without having to technically take the action of changing.
Okay.
And from here, the kindly ones loom in for the kill, and Death says, like, fucking get out of here! And they go. They scram!
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And then if we go to the next page, the big one, Dream says, I've made all the preparations necessary. And Death says, you've been making them for ages. You just didn't let yourself know that that's what you were doing. And he's like, if you say so. And they're just like, give me your hand. And they touch. They have that God creating Adam moment. Flash. And that's it for Dream.
Or is it? It is.
Well, it's it for Morpheus' Dream. But that's it. He's fucking done. It's like a mercy killing, I guess. He's just like, I'm not going to be killed by these kindly ones. I don't even know if the kindly ones would kill him, or if it's all just driving him to that, like, acceptance and ending himself.
Mm.
But what do you think about the idea that he set all this in motion? That everything he's been doing, from, like, granting Loki that favor, to everything is just, like, this kind of, maybe almost subconscious working behind the scenes to change himself without actually changing?
I don't know, because I don't know like how there's moments like happening before this where it seems like things are like out of his control. So I don't see like how we can maybe foresee this to happen if he's set in motion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think like, did he spur the things to happen to get to this point? Yes. But did he purposely I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to say with that question, or with that conversation he was having with Odin about releasing Loki. About, like, yeah, I think
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. Guess I fucked up, huh?
Yeah.
Why the fuck would he do that to Loki?
Yeah, I don't know.
All Loki has ever done is fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
But, I mean, I said it even earlier in the show. It seems like his friends are all shitheads. So I don't know.
want to share a beer with Hob, though.
I mean, you kind of would.
Yeah, just to hear those stories. Paul, you just on TikTok over there? Yeah. All right. So after that, Dream is gone. We get a glimpse of all the other people that have been affected by his life, I guess. Nuala leaves the fairy kingdom willingly. Delirium finds her dog. And Rose and Hal do attend Zelda's funeral, and Rose reveals that she's pregnant. In the midst of death, we are in life, Hal tells her. And then also, Lucifer shuts down his bar and moves on. He says, like, I've learned that there's no use holding on to old grudges. He says, what is the thrill of standing at the end of the universe only to say, see, I was right the whole time? Which I think is kind of interesting. He doesn't hold any hard feelings for all the things that went down with, God and all that.
Yeah.
And Paul Burgess awakes from his coma. And Lyta awakes confused. Very confused.
I got this green shit on my face.
What did you do to me?
I'm inside of a salt circle or whatever.
Blood circle. And Larissa says, you should start running. People will want to kill you for what you've done, including me. sends her on her way. And then back in the castle of the Dreaming, we see young Daniel take the Emerald Dreamstone that Dream left him, and he grows right before our eyes and becomes the next Dream, from father to son. And it also recreates a panel that we saw Destiny see in a previous issue. You're like, oh, what the fuck? Because I remember seeing, like, who's this white Dream with a bloody throne and Corinthians there? And there it is.
There you have it.
There it is.
Wow. Should have paid attention then.
And another thing that I thought was odd, the emerald is apparently the heart of Koshi the Deathless.
Great.
So Mignola did have some small role there, because that is a character that does appear in Hellboy. I guess it's a mythical character, which I had no idea.
Is it one that gets boned?
They all get boned.
All right, great.
And then we wrap it up here, and this is bookended with the kindly ones themselves. They say, so it's finished. What was it in the end? They say, what it always is, a handful of yarn. Little stitching and weaving, a few loose ends, but that's only to be expected. It's the same old story. Whatever it turns into on the way, in the end, it's always a winding sheet. They say, are you satisfied? And they're like, how could I ever be satisfied? And then they eat some cookies.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them's a fortune cookie, and the message reads, flowers gathered in the morning, afternoon they blossom on, still are withered by the evening, you can be me when I'm gone. Which I think is a little metaphor or allusion to Dream passing on and his son taking his place and being the next Dream.
Yeah.
Either way, they don't like it.
Nah, they crumple it up right quick.
That's shit poetry, they said. They say, but at least it's not a moral. Worse than morals, worse than beginnings, morals. Got no time for them. And they say, well, that's it. For good or bad, it's done. And they cut the string.
Yep.
And that's it. You can come back to us now, Paul. And that's it.
That's that.
That is essentially Sandman, from what I've heard. There's another volume, which is like the epilogue. It's The Wake, Dream's Wake.
Yeah.
But I think that is the main story of Sandman.
Wow. So I read a little bit of the afterword of this, where Neil Gaiman goes on. It's like, do you not like it or not? I don't know. I don't know. I've heard 13 issues. Did you guys read any of that or whatever?
No.
It's quite funny, but it's mostly like there's a lot of people that got questions after this. I don't know. Like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Like, I don't know.
I thought it was pretty well resolved.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that there's another volume after this to tie up any more loose ends, but I was like, holy shit, he resolved, like, almost every character he's introduced in this. It's
Literally
I would say
almost everyone.
In terms of tying up loose ends, he did it better than most.
I mean, he tied up loose ends I don't even think was necessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did like this volume. I mean, I said right up top that I felt like it read different than all the other ones.
I liked that it had a straight story as opposed to just an anthology.
Yes.
And I do enjoy a good anthology, but maybe I don't love Neil Gaiman's anthologies that much. I would rather him, like, tell a direct story.
Right. See, but I don't know. I'm split on it, because when it did, like, jump in this volume to, like, a story within a story, I thought it was fun. Like, I liked it, but
I think it increases the mystery of the whole universe kind of thing. Because, like, nothing, like, this might be, as weird as it sounds, the most, like, straightforward thing he's done.
I agree.
But
I do.
I don't think, like, everything around it, I think, works to the benefit of it. Where it's just like, oh, it's just, the world building is really, really, really well done, I think.
Yeah, and it just, it's so long. It's 13 issues, and, like, I don't feel like all this detail was necessary, I guess, for this issue. Because really, if you're at this tail end of your Sandman tenure, right? Like, I feel like you can narrow your focus just a little bit and get maybe more in on Dream, because you see.
But it's not all about him. Like,
No,
the
I
whole
know it's
series
not, but-
hasn't been.
No, I know, but like this chunk kind of was, and anything that happened to some of these side characters is really inconsequential to like his story. The fucking title of the book is Sandman, and like so like and it's like something really heavy happens at the end of this to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if I'm just rambling at this point.
I don't know if it would have felt like Sandman if it was any different though. Like it felt like Sandman.
Yeah.
And for the end of Sandman, I guess I would rather have too much than too little.
So this book left me wanting to get into the next volume.
Yeah.
I do too. I was like,
obviously not
fuck,
knowing what's
it's gonna
going
be a
on.
month before we record, but like I kind of want to read it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what it's really like, there are like things I wanted to know. Like for some reason, like I want to know what like Death's thoughts are, or something like that, where it's like, yeah, if Morpheus is gone completely, or if they do more of a memoriam thing for him, or if that's how you say, and then kind of the next one, like I really want to know what people's thoughts were beyond what just happened in this last volume.
Yeah, same. Right.
Yeah. We mentioned it's like a Greek tragedy,
Yeah.
which it very much is. And I thought there was some kind of like irony in it that Lyta blames Morpheus for the death of her son, but he didn't kill him.
Right.
However, he did kill his own son. So despite like the mistaken identity, like in the eyes of fate, I feel like it's still all kind of justified. You know,
yeah,
it's like,
sure.
yeah, I mean, like in a very roundabout tragedy storytelling way, like, yeah, that checks out. I think like he's being punished for killing a son. Doesn't matter which son it was, but like he'll take the punishment for that.
Mm-hmm. I like how the fates essentially twist that in the beginning too. It's like, well, yeah, your son, no, we can't do anything about. But Morpheus killed him. Like
son.
like I like how they twist it to
Their own advantage.
to their own advantage. I really enjoyed that. It was good.
That's kind of bullshit, though, right? It's like
It's totally bullshit.
Morpheus
but it's
killed my
like,
son. Like, no, he didn't. But he killed his son.
You want
Want
to
me to
get
get
him
him
for that? Yeah.
It's like, yeah. It's like, but that's not fair. Like,
Yeah.
because didn't he like also kind of deal with that himself? Like, he dealt with like the decision to kill his son, right? He
Mhm.
felt that.
Oh yeah, he wrecked him. He
Yeah.
wasn't the same afterwards, and he kind of wanted to be killed for it.
Right.
That boy was just a head though. So
so
like, what the fuck did he want to do?
Yeah.
They sing songs.
Can
Yeah.
you
The
point
kind
me?
of ones hated
Yeah.
those
Oh,
songs,
fuck.
actually.
Yeah.
Can you point me in this direction today, please?
I'd like to watch this wall.
Yeah, you're a fucking loser, Morpheus.
So, what does this whole series mean?
I couldn't tell you.
Here's something that I thought of.
Okay.
I'm going to read this directly because I like the way I worded it.
All
And I
right.
think something could be lost if I don't translate this appropriately. What is Sandman about? Morpheus is a guy who is terrible with women. He's an absent and distracted father who only cares about his duties and work, even though all he does is sit on his ass while people sleep. He fucks around on too many people, and eventually his actions come back to haunt him. It's only after serious self-reflection that he decides to own up to his mistakes and take real responsibility for his decisions and the people he's hurt along the way. And that's it, right? I mean, that's kind of, in terms of his story, that's it. He's a self-centered guy who gets out of jail, learns the error of his ways, then orchestrates a way to kill himself, and then his son takes over the family business.
You're not wrong.
Sandman.
That's
It's
exactly
a
it.
TV guide description of
Yeah.
Sandman.
Yeah.
God, that's pretty good though.
I mean, if you were gonna take a very like mythological story and break it down to the most human elements, I would say that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Just picture it like in Breaking Bad scenario, and
Yeah.
that's the story.
Yeah.
Just tell Sandman, but as Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I like it. It humanizes things in a lot of ways. Like the most powerful of people are still fallible.
Yeah.
Everything about this is like everyone makes mistakes, all of this, like, it's kind of that kind of story.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's above, like, that, like, human morality kind of
And
thing.
it's weird because, like, he seems to be about one of the only analysts that is this fallible. Because everybody else seems to be, like, figured their shit out. Even, like, Delirium, as crazy as, like, she is. Like,
she knows what she is.
She knows what she is. Whereas Dream's, like, kind of just flopping about, you know? It's like, I'm just gonna do whatever, I guess, and piss a lot of people off.
Well, what was it, reality that they said was the antithesis of Dream?
Opposite of Dream, yeah.
Maybe that's, because I'm trying to think of, like, why would Gaiman pick Dream to be this way and not other ones? If the antithesis isn't reality, and that just being one of the most realist things that happens to everyday people, of like them trying to correct their mistakes and this and that.
Shit, man.
As it gets deep. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, should we listen to what some of our friends of the show
literally just gonna cue that up. Yeah.
All right, Paul, let's take a voicemail if we can. Which one is this?
Which one is this?
Is this J-Man? Or Sam?
Sam.
Oh, Sam.
Fiend of the show.
Fiend of the show. Let's see.
Take it away, Sam.
Yep.
Even in ending, there is beginning. After completing the mammoth tone that is the kindly ones, this is what I wrote in my notes, without pondering its meaning. It's never uttered in the Sandman to this point, and yet it leapt into my swimming mind amongst so much whatever the fuck I just read. Gaiman drudges back all the characters he left in his story on loose ends, and gives them a proper ending. Or at least some kind of ending. But he does so almost haphazardly. Boiling this down, The Kindly Ones is a battle of the woeful. Lita Hall, desperate to be strong for Daniel from her position of powerlessness and pain, Morpheus from his omniscience, yearning for justified repercussions, to the pain he holds over his son's death, both driven by woe, never logic, both acting dreadfully human, both on a crash course of desperation. Obviously, if that was all there was, this would be shorter, and yet not better. The moments in this volume which play out, yet barely or don't affect the two, add to the humanity. Is Delirium looking for her dog, or Lucifer wanting to close his bar, or Rose Walker going back to England particularly necessary? No. But as this series and its creators have grown, so too the showing of facets of humanity, believing that each facet is the whole, but it is a fraction. Why not show as many facets as possible? It may not be important, but it is never padding. I will say that despite a few moments of brilliance, Lita going mad, and Merv Pumpkinhead gunning the Furies just to get pulped like a fucking Looney Tunes short, I struggled with this art for defining the longest arc. The climax, it doesn't look like Sandman to me. Perhaps because some of the faces look straight out of Beavis and Butthead, Loki in particular. It is worth noting, though, how focused on women Gaiman is here. Women aren't about dreaming. We're about the real world. The women scorned by Morpheus are his downfall, as are equally the women who love him. Death, Delirium, whatever the fuck Thessaly's fake name was at the end here, because she was clearly banging him at some point. It's the women he loves that he ignores. The ignorance of man leads to his sorrow, his continuation of ignorance to his damnation. However, a man who already lives in sorrow may be content with damnation. After all, you make your own hell. And with his trademark stoic sadness, Morpheus ends content. But Dream begins anew. Even in ending, there is beginning.
Yeah. And should we pour one out for old Merv?
Old Merv,
Getting
yeah.
pulped. What a way with words. He absolutely got pulped like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
It just looks like the jack-o'-lanterns in my compost pile.
God, maybe we should get your dad to whip up a Merv pumpkin head for you next Halloween.
Oh my lord!
Troy's father just spreads Halloween cheer every year by putting a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns and various large vegetables in the yards of all the siblings.
Yeah.
A Merv would be pretty good.
He would.
See if we can get him on the horn.
Oh my god.
All right, we got another voicemail from J-Man, I believe.
Yeah.
Another friend of the Discord, friend of the show. Let's hear what he thinks.
Might be in chat too.
Whoa.
Hello, Imperius Rex. This is J-Man313 calling in to talk about the Kindly Ones. I think at the first time reading the Kindly Ones, I both appreciated it, but didn't really quite get it as much as I have come to more and more appreciate how ambitious and impressive this story is. We've got essentially a Greek tragedy unfolding, and it's a wonderful question every time I read this book of how much of this is Morpheus just falling victim to both his own weaknesses, or how much of this is his own subconscious manipulating these events. And we've also got the recurring theme of Mother, Maiden, Crone in Rose and Lita and Thessaly. And you've got this wonderful portrayal of madness with Lita that is magnificently drawn by Mark Hempel, whose artwork I've come to more and more appreciate as brilliant. This is definitely the longest and most ambitious story in the Sandman, and it's also one of the best. And I think it's just a very moving tragedy as slowly Dream succumbs to this fate that he both is inevitably reaching, but could have avoided. It's amazing and stirring. Thank you and have a great one.
What a great point about the Maiden, Mother, and Crone thing, because, like, we were just saying we didn't pick up on that, like, at all. So now that you say that, and having those specific big instances of these stories now makes this so much more interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It was probably the only reference of the Mother, Maiden, Crone that we didn't pick up on. Because they're throughout it all over the place, but to those specific characters embodying that of Rose, Lita, and Thessaly as the Maiden, Mother, and Crone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checks out.
That's awesome.
That was good. And we got one more. Very special one.
Oh my.
From our friend Pud.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay.
He got his act together and he got us one because he's been absent for a little while. But here it is. Let's go to our friend Pud.
Sandman Volume 9 is a book about things coming home to roost. Various stories are brought up again only to be resolved. Things die in this book. It's no shock that it's structured like a Greek tragedy. Heartache and woe are bound, and Morpheus is our tragic hero, central and unable to really stop what's coming. I'm sure these are all points our triad of hosts have made succinctly and soberly prior to this playing, coincidentally mirroring the other trait of a Greek tragedy, a triple goddess of some kind, this time bestowed to us by Thessaly as the crone, Rose as the maiden, and Lita as the mother. As visual reference, I hope that a picture of the Sanderson sisters, as portrayed by the Imperius Rex boys, is placed here. Us, being readers, are the audience, the most important part of any play. And what a great audience we are. This is really what I want to talk about, this DreamStream itself. Something I've noticed is that, like the cinema experience, consuming this piece of art is made better knowing others are doing the same. The communal and community aspect of this read-through, I feel, has done it wonders. Our discussion and diatribes and total idiocy add to this story about stories. in a real way, the best Sandman story is the one we made along the way. Yeah, that's my final statement, and I'm sticking with it. It's a strange and beautiful book, and it requires strange and beautiful company to enjoy it. So good night, and sweet dreams.
Haunting.
Pod, that was haunting. Oh my lord.
Absolutely incredible though.
Yeah,
Very touching. I
Yeah,
love
yep.
that.
Yeah.
That's why we do the book clubs like this. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. Very good.
Sandman was the friends made along the way. As I've said, I've read half of Sandman years ago. Didn't quite register then. But now, doing this, making a big show out of it, loving it. You know, it's a very different experience. And being able to read it with a bunch of people, it's been a wonderful time.
Yeah, and also very helpful.
Yes.
It has.
Absolutely.
I was just saying, sometimes we get through this whole episode and then realize via a voicemail at the end of the episode that we missed a giant thing of the thing.
That apparently everyone else got. Well said, Bud. And thank you. It was touching.
Yeah, very good.
Very much so. But we've been droning on for putting near 2 hours at this point, so
Not our longest, somehow.
that was very bizarre to me. But should we wrap it up?
I guess we might as well.
I mean, to wrap up this whole volume, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it quite a bit. It was a divergent way to read it compared to other volumes, but I didn't not like it. I liked it quite a bit, but it did at the end make me want to just like go to the next volume.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it was like a
Most of the time when we finish one, it's like, oh, thank God. I've got like a weight off my shoulders and I can just take a break for a minute.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the only times I'm like, hey, let's get it. Let's get
go.
to that weight.
Yeah.
Let's tear up this fucking weight.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my final thought on it there.
Very similar to mine. Did just really want to jump right into the next one. Very good volume, like just hearing everyone's like thoughts on it. As we do in almost every one, the second we sit down and like all just kind of devour it bit by bit, we're like, man, that was really good. This is really good. Yeah, it could have been and there are no bad volumes of this book, really. None that we can't talk each other into liking, apparently.
This was one though where I liked it like pretty much consistently all the way through though, and didn't have to be convinced that I liked it.
In fact, we talked you out of it. You know what? Maybe it was a little too good. No, I was thinking when we eventually do a full wrap up of Sandman, you know, when we talk about the whole overview, I feel like this is one of the few long running series that you can pick favorites on.
Sure.
Because it's one story, but it is very much each volume as well.
Yeah.
And although none of them were bad, there were certainly some that resonated way more than others with me.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a whole lot of books that do that.
Right.
You're like, that one, that is a good one. You could just read that.
Yeah.
And they're all very distinct.
Yeah.
And like you could read through all of Invincible, but I couldn't tell you which one, like, which guy, like Alien was in, or some shit like that. But like this one, like,
it's the Hell one, or it's the Cuckoo one.
Yeah,
you know?
They have such cool, distinct personalities to each volume that really they all have a life of their own, which is awesome.
And just a cast of fully fleshed out characters. I'm actually looking forward to, like, when we do this eventual wrap up, I want to go back and, like, try to pick out my favorite characters. Okay. Because there's some that I think I've forgotten about, and then when I think back, I'm like, oh, God, they were really good. And that actually, or like, that one stuck with me, and maybe they were, like, inconsequential to the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Gaiman writes very good human characters.
Yeah.
And they don't all have to play a huge role. They're just fully realized people.
Yeah. And really, to the credit of Gaiman writing human characters, even as godly characters, portrayed as humans very well. And like, as it is in real life, hardly ever if it works out for the better for a lot of them. Right. So it's very grounded
And sometimes they're just bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
Not every conversation matters either.
Yeah.
But somehow it's still interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sometimes they're pumpkins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not enough times. if you
Yeah,
ask
that's
me.
very true. Very true.
So that was it. The kindly ones. I always wondered what the fuck this title was when I looked at the whole stack of Sandman volumes. I'm like, really? That's like the second to last, the kindly ones?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Witches.
Witches, man.
Yeah.
Fucking witches.
Oh my god.
Women.
Lather,
Am I right?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, women be shopping.
Lather yourself in stink. That's what witches are about.
So I think that pretty much does our final thoughts in.
Yeah.
Should we wrap up the show?
I think we should.
So, big thanks to our patrons.
Yes.
Without them, I don't know if this DreamStream would have happened.
Yeah.
Because we all got really into it. You know, we've had patrons for a while. Here's our current ones, which it's wonderful to be able to chat with you. Also wonderful that you're willing to help finance the show in whatever way is possible. But it just added to the community. And the discourse right now, the discourse in the Discord has been amazing.
Yeah.
Really good time, really getting to know everybody, having a great time, and I'm almost put off by how funny these people are.
Yeah,
like, hey,
don't
now,
be funnier than
hey,
me. Yeah.
this is our show. I'm like, God, should they be doing the show? Like, I'm second guessing myself when we get into some of these conversations.
You do love it. And just the broad variety of people from different countries getting in, sharing their input on everything.
Yep.
Just got a new guy from Brazil just chiming in.
Oh my God.
It's been a
Raphael, great addition.
Yeah.
He has a cross-eyed cat.
Oh.
I think we might make it the official mascot of Imperius Rex. Troy, have you seen the cat?
I've not seen the cat.
Show you some pictures
Give
of
me
the
a
cat.
picture of the
Oh
cat.
my God, it's amazing.
But yeah, everyone in that Discord, like, it's an amazing place. So if you love, like, especially comic book stuff, like, it has got everything nailed for you. You got people giving you so many different insights for everything. It's just a wonderful place.
Yep,
that's right.
Good place to build some friendships.
Good.
Yeah.
And also, we've got some merch on Redbubble. We don't get much out of this. We just mainly it's up here if we want to buy some of our own stuff. But if you want us, support the show in some small way, we don't get much out of it, as I said. But it's cool that we have some stuff out here. We're gonna get that Troy under a post from the Shinji book up here real soon.
Oh yeah.
So that's there if you want to support and show off the Imperius Rex gang. And last but certainly not least, Paul, PK, fourth member of Imperius Rex.
Wow.
Full of mystery.
Wow.
Yep, producing the hell out of these.
Yeah. Took a picture of a dead woman today or some shit. I'm not entirely sure.
Had to crop her out of the picture,
Oh!
actually. This is our 10th live stream. We did almost a year of monthly live streams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you know. That was the face of a guy that just got out of the shit numb. It was a 1,000-yard stare, if I've ever seen one. But we only took one break around Halloween, and it was when we did a Halloween stream. Just to a little change of pace. But holy shit, almost a year of Sandman.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Paul, for running this. You definitely upped our ante in terms of live streams. We did a Doom Patrol one, the Swamp Thing. They didn't hold a candle to this.
Not one.
I mean, I probably liked them both more than I like Sandman, but the stream quality is much better. So any final thoughts before we call it an evening?
I'm looking forward to this next volume.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. But other than that, I've been Troy to the Max Extreme.
I've been Dinosaur Neil.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
Wow. And I would just like another big thanks to Paul. But until next time we talk more Sandman or anything comics, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sweet dreams.
Oh.
You are now departing the Mysterious Imperius DreamStream. We hope your stay was restful and brimming with fantastic imaginings. Until next time, friends, sweet dreams and pleasant tomorrows. This has been Imperius Rex.